Welcome to Starcraft, I'm Dreadbane, joined by Sapphire. Our tournament coverage continues with a match between Legionnaire, the orange Protoss, and as the blue Protoss. Now this map is Kolos Ravine. Looking forward to it, sir.
Yeah, what's up guys? Sapphire here. Now we've got a match from the round of 16. So this is the day 2 coverage. It's all happening now. So really excited about this match. We've got Legionnaire, who's basically a pioneer of the esports scene in Australia. He was one of the first top Australian players to go across to Korea with the WCG, and he was very successful there. Did some pro gaming in Korea over there, playing Starcraft for a living. So Legionnaire is a massive name in the Starcraft community. He did really well in the Tasman tournament, the first edition, and now he's up against Az, who's another big name in the Starcraft community, and Az has been playing out of this world well in Phase 1 and Phase 2 beta. So yeah, really looking forward to this game, and it's Protoss vs Protoss on Kolos, so we may see some shenanigans and tricks here, so really looking forward to it.
Dark Templars. Just complete Dark Templar party. Just in the middle. Well, I hope that's what I'm going for.
I still want my motherships, but I'll settle for Dark Templars. At this stage, it looks pretty standard. We're seeing 1 gates, no wall in, which is a little bit interesting. But in Protoss vs Protoss, stuff like that you would use to exploit against other races becomes a little bit less important. So just looking to not send out a probe all the way to the ramp, trying to get that gateway up as fast as possible. By doing it this way, they're able to start a building and then put their probe immediately back on the minerals without sacrificing that mining time. So every little bit counts, especially in a mirror match that's this high level. So yeah, not seeing too much deviation in the builds just yet, but we'll stay tuned and find out where they split off.
Yeah, now of course they did spawn on the same side of the map, so they do have that gold expansion in the middle there if one of them does want to risk it. It might be worth it if they can get away with it for a bit, but as it is, this little Az probe is just hanging out in Legionnaire's base. He can't really do much about it because the first zealot's only now being put out, so he has gone into the cybernetics score, of course, straight away, which is very standard, nothing like too crazy going on there, mirrored by Az there, so have to sit tight.
Yeah, this is how close these builds are. These cybernetic scores are almost tick for tick. They're so incredibly synced up. Both players putting everything on the line here as they go very tight. Although we did see a Zealot produced by Az, whereas Stalker is coming out for Legionnaire. Although Legionnaire did get his first Zealot being produced a little bit earlier, so he got that out a little bit faster. And now we're just seeing very similar harvester counts, very similar income. It's just the production is mirrored as well. Stalker's coming out for both players. Warp Gate research coming down at the cybernetics core. A little bit of difference in the chrono boosting. We're chrono boosting this Stalker out from Az just to get it out as fast as possible, whereas Legionnaire has been spending his chrono boost mana on his economy. I imagine both players are probably going to think about chrono boosting this Warp Gate research, and it will be curious to note where the deviation comes down. We are seeing a robotics bay for Legionnaire, so I'm not sure if we'll see a robotics bay from Az, who's thrown down another gateway. So we're seeing a little bit of deviation in the builds now finally. They are splitting off a little bit, while we're seeing a little bit of a skirmish here in the middle, as a Stalker and Zealot trying to chase off the Stalker of Legionnaire. So a little bit of skirmishing and a little bit of build deviation, but not too much splitting off just yet. Something we should note with this tournament, now that we are on day 2 in the round of 16, is this is actually double elimination from here on in. That means that even if Az or Legionnaire will lose this series, which is best of 3, from here we will they will go down into like a repechage, and which is basically means that it's double elimination. They will be playing off against other people who lost in the round of 16, and then they play their way up. The advantage is given to the winners bracket, because if you're winning, you haven't been eliminated. So basically, long story short, to be knocked out of this tournament, you have to lose twice. You have to be eliminated 2 times, basically. So makes it a little bit interesting, increases the chances that we'll see a big name who might get surprised by a shock build, and then they'll be able to play their way back up. But in this game, we've got such big names facing off, so one of these players will go through in the winners bracket, one of these players will have a chance to play their way through back up through the redraw in the lower bracket. But right now we are seeing this proxy pylon going down for Az, so he's looking to apply early pressure. However, we've got an Immortal online for Legionnaire, although Az is throwing up some really nice force fields there, catching a few Legionnaire units off guard, executing this Zealot, so really good sentry usage there by Az. He just walled off so perfectly there, and Legionnaire is forced to retreat, and Az is now able to strong point at this Zelnaga, so Az has just handed himself firm map control, while Legionnaire is working on getting this expansion online. So Legionnaire really going to need to hold this choke here. His situation is a little bit critical. He has invested pretty heavily to get this Immortal online, and the flip side of it is Az has been able to get a lot more gateway units. We are seeing a force field splitting Az's forces here. He keeps his forces tightly in this ramp, in this choke here, but his Stalker and 2 sentries has been split off, and they're free to be sniped by Legionnaire. But now Az's main force is moving into the base. We are seeing that force that was desperately fleeing to the middle line taken out, so Az may be forced to retreat here. Probes coming off the line to try and engage here, although nice micro by Az. He's just picking off Legionnaire's probes as he retreats, so Legionnaire going back to mining but still being held in his base despite that nice force field usage that cut Az's forces in half. Legionnaire is still contained in his base, although he does have that expansion online now. So even though we have most of the map control going to Az, because of these destructible rocks that Legionnaire wisely destroyed, he still has an expansion advantage now. He just needs to get it online. But we are seeing Az being very, very aggressive, keeping up this pressure. He's got reinforcements streaming in now, Zealots and Sentries, and he's going to have another go. So he's looking to end the game right now. He's really applying the pressure, looking to push Legionnaire as much as possible. Another Immortal online, but it's been caught out of position. Force field going down. The Immortal's trapped. Legionnaire's Immortal goes down. Az looking to go to work on the front line. Zealots evaporating all over the place. These sentries trying to provide the difference. Not seeing any Guardian Shields go off, but we are seeing Force Field split the forces, and now Az is focusing down the Immortal. The other Immortal does go line. Probes getting involved now. Desperation time for Legionnaire. We're seeing another wall of Zealots pour into the base, and we're seeing these probes desperately try and turn the battle. These Stalkers are still coming online. One Stalker almost going down, and Legionnaire calls GG. Too much pressure from Az. Az was just too strong. We saw Legionnaire go into Robotics Bay and get those Immortals online, while Az just stuck to Gateway units, and he was just too strong in the end.
Yeah, just mass gateways really for Az there. He just, put on the pressure at the start and didn't let off, and really Legionnaire just didn't have the units to counter it. A very early, nice force field play to actually block off a couple units from Legionnaire, so he actually lost a bit of his army straight up. So I like that play by Az. He just, it was good play. It was the right build, I guess, because Legionnaire did go for that robotics facility instead of the warp gates. But yeah, well played by Az.
We go to game 2 now. Az is up 1-0. Adios.